Perfect.
So Dr. Chawn Watkins, welcome for our
Thank you.
KP Candid Conversations. You are in pediatrics in our Panorama City service area.
Yes.
Perfect. How are you today, first of all? All good?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
How long have you been with KP?
A little over a year.
Wow.
Year.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're brand new like me because I'm a little over a year at KP
Okay.
as well.
Okay. In
So
KP.
we're in it
I
together.
worked, though, in pediatrics for over 20 years.
Over 20 years. And where were you before
Yes.
this?
I've been at various
Different
community
hospital?
health centers. Yes.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. And why did you
Yeah.
want to become a doctor?
Oh my goodness. I remember when I was 11 years old, just thinking that I wanted to help people. And I liked science, I liked math. And for me, becoming a pediatrician was that way. And I was either going to be a biology teacher or a pediatrician. Like, I didn't say, oh, I want to be a doctor, and I don't know what kind of doctor. It was either pediatrics or biology. Teacher with high
We
school.
lucked out. We lucked out
So.
that you decided to become a doctor and go that direction.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it.
As a parent myself, I know that we are very connected to our pediatrician. You know,
Yes.
it is
Yes.
parents are very, very connected because you go through so many of those milestones.
Yep.
Does that? I assume you feel that same emotion as well.
Absolutely. One of the best things about pediatrics is the relationship that you build with families over time. And so since I've been at KP now for a year and seeing patients that are now a year old that I've seen from birth, it's still fun and amazing to me that I get to see, different groups of children grow up. And when I see kids that I've seen from previous practices, like, out and about or online, and, they're going to college, I can't believe it. Like,
Well,
I saw you when you were this big.
They're coming in with their own children. I mean, you've been in it for a couple of decades. They're seeing now you're probably getting into the point where they have their own kids coming in.
Right, potentially. Like, if I were at the same place, I'm from Chicago originally, so that's where I
really?
started my career. Yes.
Me
So
too,
I'm
by the way.
sure that I have. Oh, say that again.
I'm from Chicago as well, so
Oh,
I'm
great.
right there with you. Very
Yes,
good.
yes.
Good
So,
people.
yes, I'm sure that, a lot of those patients are now having some of their own children, and it's just mind blowing. So,
Doctor, tell me this. We've been talking so much about vaccination and vaccines more than we ever have in recent memory, right?
yes.
And I feel like in many ways we've all become scientists. Well, it's the mRNA vaccine and this and that. So has that helped or hurt the push for vaccination?
Just the actual conversation that we've all been having. Well, it's interesting because COVID has changed so much of the way that we do everything, especially in pediatrics right now. So yes, if for my particular practice, parents you either have two types of parents right now. The ones who are like, yes, we want the COVID vaccine. They come and ask for it. And then I do have three groups. I have the ones that just don't mention it. We go through the whole visit and, we talk about the regular childhood vaccines. And then when I see the age, I say, hey, it looks like Johnny is eligible to get the vaccine. Oh, they can get the vaccine at their age? So sometimes I'm not sure if they knew and they're just not telling me that they knew or they didn't want to bring it up. Or if they just truly did not know, even though it's in all the news media. I mean, you can just go on any website, especially when a vaccine is approved, especially when it comes to COVID. When they're approved for a certain age group, it's like blasted all over the place. So sometimes, but, I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So I say, well, yes, now we have it for 6 months and up. And so then I ask first, do you have any questions or concerns? What questions can I answer for you about the COVID vaccine? And for that matter, I've said that same thing about the flu vaccine over the years. And, even about the regular childhood vaccines when needed. And then we have the third group who they just absolutely, they don't want to talk about it. at all. Like, nope. Do you have any questions about the vaccine? Nope. We're fine. We're good. Like, okay. So then I don't push. I might say, oh, we do recommend it. So whenever you're ready to talk about it, we can do a telephone appointment. You can message me, and then we can go from there.
And that's because you have to meet your patients wherever they are, right? I mean, you
Absolutely.
can, the more you probably push, the more you push them away
Right.
from, other things,
Exactly.
correct? Yeah.
Exactly. So, the entire conversation about vaccines for me has been mostly all about the COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I do have to sometimes remind people that, oh, hey, we're due for these other things. We had a lot of kindergartners, kids who are going to kindergarten this year, who missed their 4-year-old vaccines because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing that across the board, like across all groups, a decrease in the immunization rate during the pandemic. That was universal. So I had a lot of kindergartners now, needing to come in for their school forms and their vaccines so that they can get in school. And so that's been a huge opportunity to also offer the COVID vaccine.
What is the ramification of missing that important step in, meeting childhood growth?
Well, it's really easy. We had a little blip, not really much, but we had a few cases of pertussis pop up in the last few months. In New York State, they're starting to see polio. A lot of that is more due to vaccine hesitancy than just missing the vaccines. So, but it just further highlights the fact that if we don't continue to vaccinate the way that we have been, that these diseases can come back. Like, they're not eradicated to the point that we can't catch them if we are not adequately protected. So the message is we have to continue what we've been doing in addition to the COVID vaccine.
Tell me how vaccines work. Is there a simple way to describe how they work?
Well, basically, vaccines basically help your body. It gives your body another layer of defense against a particular disease. So, whereas when your body, so the COVID pandemic is a prime example. When COVID started, we had no idea what was going on. An entirely new pathogen entered into our society, and really, we didn't have immunity to it at all. So that's when you saw the really wide range and particularly the severe disease that we were seeing, because our bodies did not have any defense at all against this pathogen. Vaccines introduce a very tiny bit of the proteins from whatever virus or bacteria we're trying to protect against. It introduces it into your body so that your body can produce something called antibodies, which are cells that fight infection. So your body is very smart. Our bodies are super smart. They know when something doesn't belong. And when something doesn't belong, they produce these antibodies so that in the future, if it encounters it again, it's ready to fight.
Why is it so important to get children vaccinated? And this is just in general.
Sure. So many of the childhood illnesses or the childhood vaccines cover illnesses that caused a great deal of harm to children in the past. Diphtheria, it can have a terrible swelling of your throat where you can't breathe. Tetanus, if you have a wound infection. Pertussis, whooping cough, which we actually do still see on occasion. These things can make people very, very sick, particularly children. Children's immune systems are still developing when they're young, and so they don't have the same capability to fight some of these things off that even adults do. Because technically, over time, adults have been exposed to a great many of things. We didn't know it, but we've been exposed to all of these things. So we've had time to build up immunity. So it's important because it helps prevent severe disease. And, even circling around to the COVID vaccine, I try to tell families it's the same. The COVID vaccine is the same as others. We're trying to prevent severe disease. The pneumococcal vaccine, for instance, was coming out. I may give away my age, but it came out my last year of residency, and that was the last time I saw a case of pneumococcal meningitis. People, and we have the benefit of progress. So we don't know what pneumococcal meningitis looks like. We don't know what epiglottitis looks like. That's caused by Haemophilus influenza B, which is another one of our very, very important childhood vaccinations. We don't know what these things look like. There's a rotavirus vaccine that came out shortly after I was done with residency. When I was in residency, rotavirus was a very common cause of vomiting and diarrhea that would cause infants and toddlers to be hospitalized. And we actually saw a case of rotavirus about 2 or 3 months ago, and I was shocked. I actually had to call my pediatrician friends in Chicago and say, can you believe I saw a case of rotavirus?
These are the things, these are the calls
rare.
you make. I don't make
these
those
are the calls I make. Yes.
So, I mean, it's got to be very hard. You're a woman of science. You've spent your career studying this and seeing the value, right? I mean,
Yes.
and I think that for all of us on the sidelines that have been living through this pandemic and watching it, that don't have a background in medicine, it's magical in some ways. The vaccine, what the vaccines can do, and how much it can stop.
Yes.
So is that do you have a difficult time when you come up to such force of not wanting to do it, of someone who doesn't want to get vaccinated?
Sometimes, but I keep it all in. My job, my goal as a pediatrician is to engage and to, as you said before, meet my families where they are, to give information and to educate, really. I've never seen a case of polio, but I don't want to see a case of polio.
Yeah.
And I explain this to families that, we have the benefit of progress. We have the benefit of herd immunity. However, if there's another lesson to be learned from COVID is that these things can come back if we are not careful. Yeah. So the decrease that we saw in overall immunization rates during COVID, then a year and a half later, you see a case of rotavirus. I don't know. Maybe they missed that vaccine because we were on lockdown and we were doing, child visits virtually, and people weren't coming in for their vaccines, or families didn't feel comfortable coming in. Rotavirus is one of the ones that you age out of. So if they miss that vaccine, you can't get it past a certain age.
You had mentioned the term herd immunity.
Yes.
Explain what that means.
So herd immunity means that if the majority of the people around you are vaccinated, an unvaccinated person would benefit from their immunity, and you expect that the disease won't spread. You won't see the spread of disease because the majority of people have been vaccinated and have immunity to a particular disease. Got it.
Yeah. I know that this is a question lots of people have, and I know that when I got my COVID vaccine and boosters all the way along the way, I felt miserable for 24 hours. Do vaccines make you sick?
Vaccines in of themselves do not make you sick. It's your body's immune response to the vaccine that causes symptoms. So when you have those chills, those body aches, for me, we know that vaccine is working because your body is working to produce those antibodies that's going to help you in the future. So I always try to emphasize that side effects from the vaccine, even if they're really bad, if they're really bad, imagine what encountering that pathogen, that virus, that bacteria without the vaccine. Imagine how that would feel.
It's a great point. And I will tell everybody that I
Yes.
felt bad for 24 hours. That was it.
Yes.
Then it was done, and it was no big deal.
Yes.
And I think that many people feel that way. But I know that a lot, there is that fear that you're going to get a flu shot is going to give you the flu, but that
Right.
just doesn't
Oh,
happen. That's
yes.
just not how it works.
I mean, that's something I've been dealing with forever in my entire career. Oh, it gives you the flu. It doesn't quite give you the flu. It's your body's immune response to the vaccine, potentially. To me, there are lots of scenarios when it comes to the flu vaccine. If you get the flu vaccine at the height of flu season, there's actually a good chance that you came in contact with the flu before you were able to build up your immunity. Or there is a cold that was caught, particularly like before COVID and when kids were at school, not a lot of mask wearing. I always felt like the majority of those were likely from other exposures. But there were some people who, and even myself, I will say one time in 20 years, I did feel miserable after one flu shot, but that was only one time.
So
So,
it's pretty good odds. Pretty good
yes,
odds.
yes.
What how do you, especially in communities of color where there has been where this pandemic in particular has disproportionately affected those communities,
Right.
and communities that may be hesitant to trust medicine, trust
Right.
government program. How do you combat that? How do you deal with that?
Really, one patient at a time. And, I'm trying to think back. So when the vaccine first came out, I was still at my previous employer. And I remember patients, the parents being very, very hesitant. And I would say within KP, it's been still, I would say actually a good 50% are still like, we're still thinking about it. Because in general, when there's something brand new, we tend to be afraid. We tend to be more cautious when when we feel like we don't have enough information and it's not done the vaccine came out too fast. It's not done the same way. There's not enough time. And so I would just, as gently as possible, say, well, it is a public health emergency. And this is what you have to do sometimes in these circumstances. And then I also used to mention very early on that, somebody had to be the first to get the polio vaccine, the pertussis vaccine. Like, there was always a first. And for our generation, for our time, we're in the situation now where we have to be the first.
Interesting. And I had read that this is back at the beginning of the pandemic, that people who are hesitant to get vaccinated or have questions about it, whether it's for children or for adults for that matter, the worst thing you can do is shaming people.
Exactly.
And telling them how wrong they are, or how
Exactly.
awful they are, right? Because that just pushes them further away, right?
Right. Oh, exactly. And so I just try to meet families where they are. We encourage it. If there are risk factors, I might push a little more. I might say, well, this is a risk factor. I really want you to consider it because I want families to know that, we are there to make sure that they're healthy, that they have the best chance to weather a bout of COVID and not have excess, morbidity or mortality even from the vaccine. We don't, it's not our practice to say, oh, if you don't do this, doom. That is not, that's not the way we do things. But I do try to emphasize that, that the vaccine does help to save lives and it helps to reduce the severity of symptoms. And I also emphasize, I try not to sugarcoat it and say, oh, you'll be totally fine. I say, look, it works almost the same way as the flu vaccine. The flu vaccine is to prevent hospitalization and death. You're not going to 100% stop the flu. Mm-hmm. And that's every single year with the flu vaccine. So to me, it's the same. And it's usually the families who are hesitant to get the flu vaccine who are also hesitant about the COVID vaccine as well. But I do have some families who have surprised me and said, oh, yes, I'll get my flu vaccine. I'll get my flu shot. I just still don't know about the COVID vaccine. Like, okay, I'll take it.
Unknown. Take what you can get. You take the small wins.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And we are just about, I would say, a few weeks away from the flu vaccine, correct?
Yes. So September 1st. Mm-hmm. So, Kaiser Permanente has several ways to get the flu vaccine. There'll be walk-in clinics at NoHo, North Hollywood. We have a nurse really out in the lobby. There are the drive-through clinics on the weekends. So there are lots and lots of different opportunities to get the flu vaccine. I'm also educating my families, like of patients who don't really need to come in. They're getting all their school physicals. Right now is a great time to remind them, don't forget to get your flu vaccine in September or October or whenever you want to do that. But I just tell them September 1st, we will be ready.
Outstanding. Dr. Watkins, thank you so much. Where are you from in Chicago?
So it's so funny that people are always shocked when I say this. I'm from the West Side. I'm from the Austin neighborhood on the West Side, but I went to Lane Tech High School. And I'm a Chicagoan. I still...
Cub fan, Sox fan?
I'm both. I'm one of those people. I grew up... I was 50-50. I mean, I went to school on Addison Street. So how could I not be a Cubs fan? Yeah. But I lived on the South Side for a short time as well. So I'm also a Sox fan. I'm a Chicago fan.
There you go. All right.
I miss my pizza.
I hear you. And just offline, I'll tell you about a couple pizza places here in LA.
Sure.
You get the feel for Chicago.
Yeah.
You are absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Dr. Chawn Watkins, and informing us and talking to us about the importance of vaccinating your children. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Get your flu shots, people.